Gatto denies he sexually assaulted anyone, despite claims from a woman who posted a 10-minute video on TikTok.
Sexually assaulted by Joe Gatto, the Impractical Joker.
Joe Gatto, once celebrated as the quick-witted, lovable prankster from Impractical Jokers, now finds himself at the center of disturbing and deeply serious allegations.
After that performance, the woman says she went to Gatto's hotel room and claims that's when he sexually assaulted her.
Known for his laugh-out-loud antics and wholesome image, Gatto helped turn the True TV series into a global phenomenon. But behind the laughter, a very different story is unfolding. One that's left fans shocked and questioning everything they thought they knew about him. In early 2025, multiple women came forward with accusations of sexual assault and harassment involving Gatto. One alleges she was assaulted in a hotel room after his comedy show when she was just 19. Another, a former colleague, claims he made unwanted advances and inappropriate comments during their time working together on Impractical Jokers. These claims aren't tabloid gossip. They're serious, personal accounts that demand to be heard and respected. Gatto has since responded, admitting to poor judgment and saying he's stepping away from the public eye. But is that enough? What really happened, and how much did those around him know? This isn't about cancel culture or drama. This is about accountability. In this video, we're diving deep into the timeline, the allegations, the reactions, and what this means for the future of Joe Gatto and the world of comedy. And trust me, what you'll hear by the end may completely change how you see him. Stick around. The truth is more complicated than you think. Joe Gatto rose to fame as one of the original founding members of Impractical Jokers, the hit comedy series that first aired on True TV in 2011. Alongside his lifelong friends, James Murray, Brian Q. Quinn, and Sal Vulcano, together known as the Tenderloins, Joe helped bring an entirely new form of hidden camera comedy to mainstream audiences. The show featured the four friends daring each other to perform outrageous stunts and pranks in public, with the loser facing a hilariously embarrassing punishment. It wasn't long before Impractical Jokers became a massive success, gaining millions of viewers and spawning live tours, a movie, and international versions of the show. Gatto quickly became a fan favorite for his boldness, quick wit, and ability to stay completely straight-faced in even the most ridiculous situations. But beyond the screen, Joe portrayed the image of a devoted family man. He often shared heartfelt posts about his wife and kids on social media and was vocal about topics like pet adoption, mental health, and positivity. In December 2021, Joe made headlines when he unexpectedly announced he was stepping away from Impractical Jokers to focus on co-parenting his children after separating from his wife. Fans were saddened by his departure, but respected his decision, believing he was putting family first. But now, years later, new revelations are causing many to question whether the Joe Gatto they thought they knew was just another role he was playing. In early 2025, a young woman posted a video on TikTok that sent shockwaves through social media and the fan base of former Impractical Jokers star Joe Gatto. In the video, the woman, whose identity remains anonymous, calmly but emotionally shared her experience, revealing that she had been sexually assaulted by Gatto in 2023 when she was just 19 years old. The incident, she claims, took place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, after attending one of Joe's comedy shows. According to her story, the two met after the show, and what began as an innocent fan interaction quickly became something far more uncomfortable. She alleges that Gatto invited her to his hotel room under the pretense of simply talking and hanging out after the show. Once inside, however, she says the energy shifted. While she refrained from giving explicit or graphic details, she alluded to being pressured and made deeply uncomfortable by Joe's comments and behavior. She described how he began making inappropriate and sexually charged remarks, bragging about his status and implying he could get away with anything. His tone, according to her, wasn't playful or joking, but predatory. She said that some things happened that she wasn't ready or willing to fully disclose publicly, but noted that the experience left her feeling violated and confused. Her voice shook as she said, "I don't want any girl to feel like that." She made it clear that her purpose in coming forward wasn't for fame or attention, but to protect others. She didn't name exact dates or reveal many personal details about herself, which sparked a mix of reactions online. Some viewers were supportive, praising her bravery, while others demanded more information or accused her of clout chasing. Still, the impact of her message was undeniable. It forced people to reevaluate who Joe Gatto was outside of the smiling, mischievous TV persona they were used to seeing. What stood out most in her video wasn't sensationalism, it was restraint. She didn't dramatize the moment or try to incite outrage. Instead, she spoke from a place of hurt and concern, especially for other young women who might end up in similar situations. Her final message was a quiet, powerful warning. It wasn't okay, and I hope he understands that. The video quickly gained traction, being shared across platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. It was viewed hundreds of thousands of times within days, igniting intense conversations around celebrity accountability and the darker realities of fan-celebrity interactions. Joe Gatto's name began trending, not for a new tour or a funny prank, but because of serious accusations that now threaten to destroy his carefully curated public image. While some fans were hesitant to believe the claims without more concrete evidence, many others expressed disappointment and heartbreak. The idea that someone they had admired for years could have committed such acts was hard to process. But for others, the emotional tone of the video and the way the woman carried herself gave the story a credibility that was hard to ignore. This was no longer just about one incident. It was about the uncomfortable truth that even those who seem the most genuine and kind in the spotlight can have a much darker side behind closed doors. And this would only be the beginning of a much larger unraveling. Shortly after the first allegation surfaced on TikTok, a second woman stepped forward with a very different but equally troubling story. Unlike the first accuser, this woman wasn't a fan. She was a colleague, someone who worked closely with Joe Gatto during his time on Impractical Jokers. Her account brought a new dimension to the situation, moving the narrative from a disturbing fan encounter to allegations of inappropriate conduct within a professional setting. In a detailed interview given anonymously to a digital media outlet, the woman claimed she had worked on the production side of Impractical Jokers for several seasons. She described Joe as initially charming and easy to work with, something many crew members echoed over the years. But behind that likable persona, she alleged a pattern of boundary-crossing behavior that made her and other female crew members uncomfortable. According to her account, Gatto would regularly invade her personal space, often under the guise of being friendly or playful. She said he'd frequently touch her shoulders, lower back, or legs in ways that felt inappropriate and uninvited. What began as subtle physical contact reportedly escalated over time. She claimed that Gatto once approached her during a shoot and asked for a back massage while cameras were off. A request she says she laughed off, hoping it would end there. But it didn't. The woman also alleged that Joe began asking invasive and personal questions about her sex life. She recalled moments when he would catch her alone on set and make suggestive comments, or ask whether she was seeing anyone, how adventurous she was, and if she'd ever hooked up with someone in the industry. She stated that these remarks were delivered in a joking tone, but the frequency and timing made her feel like she was being tested, like he was waiting for a reaction that would give him permission to push things further. She clarified that she never experienced a direct sexual assault from Gatto, but emphasized the psychological toll his behavior took on her. It was like walking a tightrope, she explained. If I laughed too much, he took it as flirting. If I avoided him, I worried I'd lose my job. He had power, and he knew it. This second woman's story marked a serious shift in the narrative, with the first allegation coming from a young fan and this one from a professional peer. The accusations began painting a broader, more disturbing picture of Joe's behavior across different environments. It wasn't just about one isolated event, it was about a possible pattern. She ended her statement by saying she hadn't come forward earlier because she feared retaliation, both professionally and personally. Language that some interpreted as a quiet admission of guilt, while others saw it as a PR-crafted way to avoid legal complications. The reaction online was mixed. Some fans expressed disappointment and heartbreak, feeling blindsided by the news and let down by someone they had admired for years. Others came to his defense, urging people not to jump to conclusions without legal proof. Still, there was a growing consensus that Joe's carefully crafted public image had taken a major hit, and his vague response did little to rebuild trust. For many, the lack of clarity felt like deflection, and in the court of public opinion, silence or vagueness can often speak louder than words. As expected, the internet exploded with reactions, and they were mixed, intense, and emotionally charged. On platforms like TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram, users flooded timelines with opinions, speculation, and personal reflections on the allegations against Joe Gatto. Longtime fans of Impractical Jokers expressed shock and disappointment. Many had grown up watching Joe and the rest of the Tenderloins, seeing them as harmless pranksters with a strong bond and a wholesome presence. "I can't believe this. Joe was the heart of the show," one tweet read. Others admitted to feeling heartbroken, with some even deleting old clips or unfollowing him on social media. The emotional weight of the accusations left many questioning how well we really know the celebrities we admire. Neutral observers took a more cautious stance, emphasizing the importance of due process while still acknowledging the courage it takes for victims to come forward. There was a noticeable shift in tone once the second woman, a former colleague, spoke out. Many users pointed out that a workplace pattern of inappropriate behavior couldn't be ignored, even without legal charges filed yet. Still, some fans came to Joe's defense, claiming the timing was suspicious or that the accusations lacked enough concrete detail. A handful of commenters accused the accusers of seeking attention, though these voices were quickly challenged by others advocating for believing and supporting survivors. One notable silence came from Joe's former co-stars on Impractical Jokers. As of now, James Murray, Brian Q. Quinn, and Sal Vulcano have not publicly commented on the allegations. Their silence only fueled more speculation. Were they waiting for more information? Or did they already know something? The absence of their voices in such a serious moment didn't go unnoticed. Online, the situation evolved beyond just Joe. It became a broader conversation about accountability, celebrity culture, and the blurred lines between fame and power. And the internet wasn't ready to look away. At this point, no legal charges have been filed against Joe Gatto. But could that change? It's possible. The allegations made by both women, while serious, have yet to result in any formal legal action. However, depending on the jurisdiction and the specifics of the incidents, criminal charges or civil lawsuits could still be on the table. In the case of the first accuser, who claims she was assaulted in 2023 while she was 19, the statute of limitations in many states, including Wisconsin, where the alleged incident took place, could allow for charges to be filed for several more years, especially in cases involving sexual misconduct. Civil suits, which have a lower burden of proof than criminal cases, are also a possibility and can be filed even in the absence of criminal charges. The second woman, who alleged workplace harassment during her time on Impractical Jokers, may also have grounds for a civil claim, particularly if she can demonstrate a hostile work environment or repeated inappropriate behavior from a superior or coworker. As of March 2025, no court filings have been made public, and Gatto has not been officially charged with any crime. It's important to remember that allegations are not convictions, but they do deserve to be taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. Whether the legal system becomes involved or not, the impact on Gatto's reputation and career has already begun. As the story unfolds, many are now asking, what does this mean for Joe Gatto's future? While Joe stepped away from Impractical Jokers in late 2021, citing personal reasons and a desire to focus on co-parenting his children, he didn't disappear from the public eye. In the years that followed, he remained active, touring as a solo comedian, maintaining a strong social media presence, and even launching a podcast that connected him with fans on a more personal level. But in light of the recent allegations, the tide has quickly turned. Several upcoming comedy tour dates have quietly disappeared from ticketing platforms, and sponsors or brand partners who previously supported him have gone silent. His once busy social media accounts have noticeably slowed, and the usual upbeat, family-focused content has been replaced with silence or vague messages about stepping back. The damage to his public image is already evident. Once known as the heart of a beloved comedy group, Joe is now being viewed through a far more critical lens. Even without legal action, the court of public opinion is swift and unforgiving. While some loyal fans continue to support him, the overall trajectory of his career appears uncertain at best and potentially irreparable. The question now isn't just whether Joe can recover, but whether the industry and the public will ever look at him the same way again. But stories like these force us to confront uncomfortable truths about power dynamics, fame, and accountability. When someone has influence, admiration, and a platform, it becomes easier for them to manipulate situations or cross lines without immediate consequences. That's why it's so crucial to listen when victims come forward, not just to validate their experiences, but to break the cycle that allows abuse to thrive behind the scenes. This isn't just about one celebrity or one show. It's about creating safer environments in entertainment, where people, whether fans, colleagues, or crew, aren't afraid to speak up. It's about recognizing that charisma and charm don't excuse misconduct. And it's about demanding more transparency and responsibility from public figures who wield influence over millions. The Joe Gatto case is a reminder. Behind every scandal is a system that either enabled it or failed to stop it. And that system needs to change. We may never know the full truth of what happened behind closed doors. But what we do know is this: the allegations against Joe Gatto are serious and deserve our attention. These stories aren't just headlines. They represent real people, real pain, and a system that too often fails to protect the vulnerable. To anyone who's experienced sexual assault or harassment, you are not alone. Your voice matters, and you deserve to be heard. Let's keep the conversation in the comments respectful and supportive. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to trusted resources like RAINN.org or local support lines. We'll continue to follow this story and share updates as more information comes to light. If you found this video informative and want to stay updated on stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching, and please, take care of each other.